How do you make an engaging, high-quality video that tells your story? What's the process of filming yourself? And what tools do you use to get it all done? Hello, I'm Matthew Encina, a creative director and content creator, and in this video, I'll give a look behind the scenes for how I come up with ideas, how I plan my shoots, and how I manage it all myself using Notion, the sponsor of this video. If you haven't seen it yet, I've made an overview of my entire process. As a follow-up, I want to share a detailed breakdown of the pre-production process, which is the critical planning stage of creating a video. I'll cover developing an idea into a concept, writing a script, and how to create a shot list. Inspiration can strike at any time. When an idea for a piece of content enters my mind, I capture it with whatever I have in front of me. This makes its way onto my Notion project board, where it sits until I have the headspace available to dedicate time to develop the idea into a concept. At this stage, I'm not trying to come up with a clever title. Rather, I'm using simple, descriptive language so I know what the idea is. I have a template I use for all of my video projects, but I'll build the components from scratch so you can follow along. Recently, I finished designing and building out my creative studio, and I wanted to create a piece of content to share the story behind it. A tour of the office, sharing the vision, layout, and features of the space. I aim to capture my concept in as few words as possible. Usually, I'll summarize the content in a sentence and may add a few bullet points for things I may cover. If you struggle with this, just write till you feel like you have your idea on the page. Then you can utilize a tool like Notion AI to help you summarize your messy thoughts. This first step establishes the direction of the video. It creates guardrails to prevent going off track, so I can concentrate my energy on developing a potent concept. Sometimes my thoughts are clear out of the gate. More often, it can take weeks to refine an idea into a strong concept. Since I'm creating a tour of my office, I want to do a little research and find inspiration to help me develop my concept for my video. I like to break down content I find interesting. I note any insights I learn, like how a video is structured, how a photo is framed, or how an author phrases an idea. The more diverse my research, the more interesting insights and inspirations I might find to fuel my own creations. In the research process, it's important to vary your sources from different authors, subjects, and mediums, so you don't end up being a carbon copy of someone else. Your voice and perspective are what will make your piece unique from what's already out there. The next part of my process is creating an outline. Here, I flesh out my concept by establishing the major points of the video. My outlines start as drop-downs with the title of the section and bullet points underneath. From here, I arrange, add, and remove sections until I'm happy with the flow of how the ideas build on top of each other. I love writing in Notion because I can easily rearrange blocks of type. With an outline complete, I begin the script writing process. First, I duplicate my outline, and then I begin to turn my bullet points into full sentences. Eventually, it becomes a rough draft. At this stage, I try my best to get everything complete, regardless of how unrefined my writing is. When I do any creative work, I switch between two modes of working: creating and critiquing. First, I create a passive work, then evaluate it objectively. Does it make sense? Does it flow? What parts are uninteresting? What can be shortened? What needs expansion? And most importantly, does it accomplish the goal? Once I've made note of what can be improved, I put my creator hat back on and address the feedback in the next passive work. One new tool I've recently incorporated into my process is Notion AI. Here I could take what I've written and prompt it to improve my writing, expand on it, or make it shorter. It's like having a writing partner look over your work and make suggestions. What it creates isn't always usable as is, but its suggestions help me move forward in my process. It gives me new ways to phrase my ideas, helping me to expand my vocabulary and see my work from a different perspective, which is helpful if I ever get stuck. I usually take a few suggestions from Notion AI, and the rest I rewrite and refine over a series of passes. To finalize my scripts, I create a 3-column document. The left column notes the video sections, the middle column contains the narration, and the right column includes visual annotations. This format helps me imagine the final video and find ways to illustrate ideas through visuals, eliminating excessive explanations. As a result, I can shorten my script and deliver a more impactful video. After my script is complete, the last thing I do before I shoot my content is create a shot list, an organized checklist of everything I need to capture for my video. Some of the shots I've already documented in the process of designing my office, but a majority of the shots I still need to capture. For my shot list, I create a table in Notion with columns that help me sort and organize my shots by sections, shot type, time of day, and location. I start by porting over my annotations from my script and renaming them to be as descriptive as possible. To ensure I have enough coverage to play with in my edit, I make sure that I have at least one wide establishing shot, 2 to 3 medium shots, and 5 close-up details of the subject. In most cases, I'll shoot variations of shots for safety, or because I see something interesting in frame on the day of the shoot. To give you an idea, for a 10-minute video, I usually end up with well over 100 shots. It's a lot to keep track of, so having a shot list is critical. The nice thing about setting up a shot list with tags is that I can filter and organize shots. I don't shoot everything in order, but rather shoot similar shots together. For example, I may set up my camera for wide tracking shots on my slider to capture beauty shots of my office in the afternoon. If I shot everything in sequence according to my script, I would have to change the lens and position of the camera for every shot, slowing everything down. But if I shoot all of my related wide shots together, it minimizes setup time, allowing me to capture more quickly. Since I love to utilize natural lighting, which looks different throughout the day, I know what time frame I'll capture a sequence, and may shoot over multiple days to get the right shots with the exact lighting. Having an organized shot list that I can filter and check off helps me see the big picture and makes my production run efficiently. I hope this overview of my pre-production process was helpful to you. If you have any questions, ask and I'll do my best to answer them. If you're interested in the full Notion template I use to create all of my videos, check out the link in the description. It includes examples of past projects so you can see how some of my most popular videos come to life. Thanks again to Notion for sponsoring this video. I've been a user for so many years, and it's become the central app to manage all of my projects, write and organize my content, and collaborate with others. Check out my link in the description to get started with Notion for free, and adding Notion AI is only $10 a month. With that out of the way, it's time to get back to work.